I am kind of worried about Nintendo's 2026 year, which is quickly coming up. There's a lot of reasons why I'm feeling this way, but it's something that's been kind of irking me and something that I think I should talk about. And I know a lot of people might not agree with this, and I'm hoping to convey my opinions and my feelings in a way that maybe you can understand, maybe you don't, I don't know. But let me just jump right onto it and say 2025 was actually a stacked year. The last 6 months have had tons of games coming out. I mean, the last 3 games that came out almost every 2 weeks. I was packed playing a new game almost every week, I felt like, and that was just from Nintendo's side of things. Yes, I play other games. I have a PC, a PS5, and an Xbox Series X, so I'm constantly playing different games, and Nintendo kept me pretty busy this year. But I have to be honest, when you look at everything that was on paper, you might think it was a stellar start for Nintendo. A new 3D Donkey Kong, a new Mario Kart after 12 years, a brand new Metroid Prime game, amongst others, but when you look at the quality of those games, that's when you start to see it wasn't quite as good as we expected it to be. In fact, if you missed the video I posted yesterday, here's a little spoiler, I guess you could say, of my ranking of this year's Switch 2 games, and as you can see, it's pretty skewed, with only one game with Donkey Kong Bonanza being stellar for me, and the rest just being good to just average. But I think it's extremely clear in Nintendo's minds this was a huge year for them, and they thought all these games were going to do really, really well. I mean, at least I would think that's what they thought if they decided to put these games out the first 6 months of Switch 2, and I think they were really riding on Donkey Kong and Mario Kart to carry the console for a very long time. Not saying that the other games that came out this year weren't important, but Nintendo knows what's going to sell the best for them. I mean, look at how well Mario Kart World has sold already. It's already close to 10 million units, and of course it is a pack-in game with Switch 2, so that definitely helps, but it is a very well-selling game, and Donkey Kong Bonanza is doing pretty good for it being the first 3D Donkey Kong since the 64. But with everything else that came out this year and reviews being skewed for almost every other game, if this is truly Nintendo's big start to Switch 2 that they think it's going to be or that they think it was, that worries me for next year, where they're going to continue to write off on that Mario Kart World or Donkey Kong hype and only have 1 or 2 really interesting games at all. I mean, if you look at the lineup, it's just already kind of sad. From January to March, all we have is an Animal Crossing Switch 2 update, which might be big for fans, but it's a Switch 1 game. Mario Tennis Fever, another Mario Tennis game. Virtual Boy Virtual Console, sure. And Pokemon Pokopia, which is like a weird Animal Crossing clone, but for Pokemon. I don't know why Nintendo packs their games the way they do. Like, they had Mario Kart World, and a couple months later, another racing game with Kirby Air Riders, and they're doing the same thing. Animal Crossing, and then a couple months later, Pokemon Pokopia, which is the same style of game. Why do they do that? I don't know. But moving on to spring 2026, there's still really nothing interesting. Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, another 2D Yoshi game, which probably is just going to be decent. I know a lot of people are excited for Tomodachi Life, but that is just another Switch 1 game. Super Mario Bros. Wonder is getting a Switch 2 edition. Once again, a Switch 1 game. Someone threw the talking flower on this chart. That's not even a game. And then the only big titles really for the rest of the year that's just slated for 2026 is Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, Splatoon Raiders, and Rhythm Heaven Groove. As a huge Rhythm Heaven fan, I know that this is just another Switch 1 game. And somebody who hasn't jumped into Fire Emblem yet, this doesn't mean a whole bunch to me, but I see a lot online that this is the only game that people care about for 2026 so far, which is Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. Personally, my most anticipated is definitely Splatoon Raiders. I even made a chart of how excited I am for all the games to come out next year, and as you can tell, it's not that great. I think this list of games already slated is going to come down to if you are a big Fire Emblem fan or not. If you're not, you're probably not going to be excited about this. I know a lot of you guys in the comments don't seem like you care about Splatoon Raiders right now. I do think that this is going to be a lot bigger game than people give it credit for. Just because it's a spin-off doesn't mean it's going to be, not as good as Splatoon. Considering the fact that it's going to be a single-player adventure game, I think it's going to be just as good, if not even better than some of the core Splatoon games. So I just think we got to wait on that one. That one's going to surprise a lot of people. But yeah, Nintendo's year next year seems a little empty, and I know you guys are already typing down below. You know that they're going to announce new games, Nintendo Land. That's not the only list of games. Of course, as we get closer to that upcoming Nintendo Direct in January or February for 2026, that's when Nintendo's going to show off the bulk of their games for next year. I completely get that. But at the same time, if you look at what Nintendo has coming out and the dates that are slated, a lot of those months are already filled with games. January has the Animal Crossing update, February has Mario Tennis and the Virtual Boy, and in March has Pokopia. So there's literally games slated for the first 3 months of next year, meaning we'll probably not get anything else in those months. And that's not even counting any of the other games that they announced for spring of 2026, and just for 2026 in general. There's still Yoshi the Mysterious Book, Tomodachi Life, Mario Wonders Switch 2 Edition, Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, Rhythm Heaven Groove, Splatoon Raiders. There's still so many other games that can fill those months. I don't think we're going to get a bunch of new things next year that we don't already know of. Something else that makes me feel this way is we've had 2 major directs, 2-hour-long directs for the Switch 2, which, should have given us a pretty good look as to what surprises Nintendo has in store for us in 2026 and what big games are on the slate. And Nintendo didn't really talk about any massive games outside of Fire Emblem for next year. So if you're somebody like me who just hasn't jumped into the Fire Emblem series so far just because it just hasn't looked like it was their thing so far, I do plan on playing Fire Emblem 3 Houses relatively soon and giving it a try. But yeah, if you're anything like me, you're just looking at this list like it's just a bunch of average stuff coming. And with that last Nintendo Direct not really giving us anything huge to look forward to, I'm kind of worried that maybe next year is just going to be more of what we've been getting. Some more smaller scale games that are just decent experiences, but nothing that really pushes the boundaries of our brand new console. Now, thanks to a Pokemon data leak, I think it's pretty much confirmed that Gen 10 is coming for the holiday next year, which is a big deal for Pokemon fans. But what else is coming? I mean, is it time for a lot of games? Sure. It's time for the next Luigi's Mansion. It's time for the next 3D Mario, for crying out loud. It's definitely time for something like Mario Maker, maybe even Smash Brothers, who they could give us some surprise like Kid Icarus or Star Fox. There's a lot of franchises. There's even rumors suggesting that we're going to get a big Zelda remake with maybe even an Ocarina of Time remake. So there is a chance that we could have some more stellar titles announced. But I don't know. I've been let down by the last couple of Nintendo Directs, and I'm just kind of expecting to be let down a third time in this next couple of months. And I know I'm going to get those same comments of people saying, hey, play something other than Mario and Zelda, when I literally play almost every major Nintendo IP. I even started Xenoblade and finished Xenoblade 1 this year. So I think Fire Emblem is really the only IP that I haven't really touched yet, and I have plans on trying it out here soon. But yeah, I played every game that's pretty much came out this year for Nintendo, and I can just say that none of them really stood out as absolute huge experiences to me, except for Donkey Kong Bonanza. And that is why I think I still like 2017's lineup more. It may have had less games, and 2025's lineup might be more packed almost every month, giving us a new experience, but it's a bunch of just average experiences, where 2017 made us wait longer in between our games, but the wait was almost always worth it. Starting the console with one of the most impressive video games of all time with Breath of the Wild, and ending that first year with one of the best 3D Marios ever with Super Mario Odyssey. But you also had Splatoon 2, in my opinion, the best Splatoon game, a brand new IP with ARMS, and a Mario Rabbids crossover, which turned out to be one of the greatest crossovers Nintendo's ever done. Like, their games were firing off on all cylinders. We weren't seeing 7s and 8s out of people. We were seeing 9s and 10s with these games. They were great titles that offered truly magnificent experiences. And like I said, I have not experienced that with anything besides Donkey Kong right now. And when people get in my ear and tell me over and over again that all I care about is Mario and Zelda, which is not the case, but you look at the track record for Nintendo, and it seems like anything in the Mario universe or the Zelda universe is the only things that are performing well. We waited so long for the next Metroid game, and it just seems to be a hit or miss with a lot of people. Or whenever they do hit one of their other IPs like Star Fox, when they eventually do, or even Pikmin, they normally change something that makes some fans really upset, or it's nowhere near as ambitious as what they should be doing for the franchise. And you know Nintendo's going to put the time and money and effort in something like a new Mario, a new Zelda, a new Smash, or even a new 3D Kirby. So that's genuinely why general audiences normally look forward to those games, because they know Nintendo's going to give it the full effort it deserves, like the full effort Metroid Prime 4 should have had. I'm still saying till this day that Splatoon Raiders is going to be that next game that we're looking for. It's going to feel like that 3D Donkey Kong experience that we just got, where it's an awesome single player adventure game with a unique premise and awesome gameplay. I'm sure this is going to be an amazing experience, dude. Like, I'm borderline 3D Mario hype for this thing. This is something I've been asking for since the first Splatoon, man, so you just don't have a clue how closely I'm following this game. Any little rumor or hint or inkling that we get, You see what I did there? I'm just all aboard, though. I can't wait to see what this game's about. Please do not let me down, Nintendo. Come through with this game. And no, this isn't me trying to be a grifter channel and just hate on Nintendo or something like that. I want them to do well. I want them to have a bunch of games that everyone can collectively just say, wow, this was a 9, this was a 10 out of 10. We haven't had one of those in a while. I mean, even Donkey Kong had some people. I mean, you're always going to have people that don't like a game. I mean, there were people that didn't like Breath of the Wild, but you look back at Breath of the Wild and even Mario Odyssey and shoot, even Splatoon 2 for the most part, and these were all games that the general public for the most part really loved. I know the Switch 2 has a lot better third-party support. We even have that Nintendo exclusive Dusk Bloods game coming, I believe, sometime in 2026, which rumors are saying it's shaping up to be a really ambitious game, but I'm ready for more positivity in 2026. I really hope and pray that I'm wrong, and this is actually a stellar year and even better than the year that they had in 2025. I really hope that all the games that come out are just truly exceptionally made games, even the spin-offs, even Mario Tennis, for crying out loud, I hope is a really good Mario Tennis game, but I really do hope that there's some big surprises that they have in store for us and that they'll announce here in the upcoming Nintendo Direct. But let me know in the comments down below what you think. Do you think we're actually going to have a pretty good year? Do you think it's going to be a bad year or just an average year for Nintendo? Also, another reason I've been feeling this way is normally year 2 is when Nintendo starts to slow down and, you know, repack with their games. I don't know, maybe they got a new formula this time around. I mean, they have a bunch of games that we still haven't seen, which it should be time for, that they're well overdue with. So maybe that means we're not going to have a drought type of thing this time. But for example, 2017, they exhausted most of their major IPs, which led them in 2018 to not have too many unique games until the very end of the year in December with Smash Brothers. So hopefully that doesn't happen. And that's another reason why I'm a little worried that it might be a pretty average year until we get into the holiday season of next year. But who knows? Oh yeah, and I just also feel like the Mario movie is going to take over a lot of the beginning of next year, and it might be a reason why there's not a huge game for the beginning, because the Mario movie is coming out in April, so maybe Nintendo wants that to be a major focus, which it is going to be for a lot of us, but still, I like video games. You know, movies are fine, but it should also be accompanied with some big video games. But yeah, just let me know your opinions down below. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Nintendo as we end the year and start the new one. And thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you all have a blessed day. See you guys.